What is up, you guys? Today, we are diving into something absolutely insane. We've all heard the stories, the playground rumors, the late-night dares about phone numbers that are supposedly cursed, haunted, or lead to something terrifying. These are the creepiest phone numbers you should never, ever dial. We're talking about numbers that legends say can connect you to the devil, summon ghosts, or even predict your death. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, but thousands of people online swear these are real. So I decided to put it to the test for you. But before we get into this, I have to give you a huge warning. This is not a challenge. Do not, and I repeat, do not try calling any of these numbers yourselves. Seriously. Some of these are linked to real-world dangers, others are just plain creepy, and you just don't know what's on the other end of the line. My team and I have taken precautions, but for your own safety, please just watch the video and don't try this at home. We're doing this so you can experience the thrill without any of the risk. So for the next few minutes, we're going on a crazy journey to uncover the truth behind 50 of the world's most feared phone numbers. We've got everything from Japanese urban legends to mysterious American hotlines that have baffled people for years. Is it all a hoax? Or is there something genuinely sinister lurking behind these digits? Buckle up, smash that subscribe button because we're about to find out. Let's get into it. First up, the most infamous number of all, 666-666-6666. Urban legends claim calling this number connects you directly to hell, with demonic voices and blood-curdling screams on the other end. Next, we have 1-000-000-00000. Rumors swirl that dialing this number will cause your phone to malfunction permanently, or even worse, that you'll receive a mysterious, life-altering callback. The number 9999999 is surrounded by scary stories. People who have called it report hearing nothing but static, followed by a chilling whisper predicting a terrible event in their future. So, from Japan, there's this number, 09044444444. It's tied to the legend of Sadako from The Ring. They say if you call it, you'll hear a horrifying noise before, well, dying. Kinda freaky, right? Now, people who have dialed 1-888-888-8888 report some of the strangest experiences. Like, they describe hearing bizarre, distorted music, or even a voice that just repeats numbers back to them in this weird, monotone drone. Super unsettling, honestly. Okay, so this number, 4086342806, is linked to the terrifying Red Room urban legend. It's said that calling it connects you to a live-streamed torture event on the dark web. Absolutely horrifying stuff, if you ask me. So, why is 202-456-1414, the main line for the White House, even on this list? Some paranormal believers actually claim you can sometimes hear ghostly voices of past presidents whispering on the line. Kinda spooky, right? Similar to its longer cousin, 6666666 is another number linked to evil. And, like, callers have shared some super chilling tales of hearing demonic laughter and unsettling backwards messages before the line just, abruptly cuts out. Dialing 1216-333-1810 reportedly leads to a series of incredibly creepy, cryptic voicemails. The messages are all disjointed, totally nonsensical, and sound like they're from someone in extreme distress, which is honestly terrifying. So, in North Carolina, there's this super creepy story about a lone phone booth that's connected to the number 828-756-0109. The legend goes that if the phone rings and you actually pick up, a disembodied voice on the other end will somehow know your name. Pretty spooky, right? Okay, get this. There's a number, 630-296-7536, that's straight out of the Boothworld Industries creepypasta. The whole idea is, You're supposed to call and request something called a flesh reanimation for someone you care about. But honestly, the consequences are like way more terrifying than you could ever imagine. And then there's the legend about 8018200263. Supposedly, if you dial this number, you'll hear an exact copy of your own voice on the other end, repeating everything you say. It's kind of like talking to your own doppelganger, which is just super unsettling. The stories behind 9135356-280 are dark. People in Kansas have claimed that calling this number would lead to a string of bad luck, or even hearing a countdown on the other end. Spooky, right? An urban legend labels 207404260 as the murder hotline. Callers have reported hearing what sounds like a struggle or a crime in progress, making it truly disturbing. Creepy, don't you think? A variation of the devil's number, 166666666666, is said to trigger supernatural events around the caller. Lights flickering, objects moving on their own, classic poltergeist activity after just one call. Pretty eerie, huh? So this number, 1-888-4475594, was once linked to a supposedly haunted doll named Susie. Callers would hear a little girl's voice giggling or crying, which is like maximum level creepiness. Back in the day, 1-900-909-4300 was a horror hotline where you could hear scary stories. But, some say if you stayed on too long, the stories started to become about you. Okay, quick serious note. 1-800-273-8255 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. This is not a scary number, but it's on this list as a reminder to never prank call it. So, there were all these wild myths floating around about 1-800-222-3333, and, people actually claimed it was some kind of secret government line. Like, for real. Folks would say they heard these strange clicks and, weird automated messages, which totally fueled these conspiracy theories that, maybe someone was listening on the other end. Then there's this super weird urban legend about the number 1-800-333-4444. Supposedly, if you called it, you'd hear a congratulations message, like you won some lottery or something. But then, boom, there'd be this creepy warning about a terrible price you'd have to pay. Kinda makes you think twice about dialing random numbers, huh? And oh man, you can't forget about the 666 variant, 1-800-666-6666. People used to say it was like an automated service straight from hell itself. They'd talk about hearing this demonic, robotic voice that would, offer these awful choices in some kind of twisted game. Seriously spooky stuff. So, callers to 1-800-444-4444 have reported some truly bizarre things, like from hearing the sound of rushing water to a looped recording of a person just breathing heavily on the line. Pretty weird, right? The stories about 1-800-888-8888 are all about infinity. Some people say the call never ends. You can't hang up, and you just hear a looping, hypnotic tone forever. Kinda creepy, honestly. The myth about 1-800-999-9999 is that it's a dead-end number. Calling it supposedly leads to a completely silent line, so quiet it's said to be deafening and, seriously unnerving. So what happens when you call 1-800-000-000? Well, rumors say you hear the sound of the void. It's this strange humming emptiness that, honestly, some people find super unsettling. It's like you're listening to nothingness. The legend of 1-800-123-4567 is that it's, a test number for the phone system itself. Callers have reported hearing a series of bizarre beeps, boops, and these automated test phrases. The opposite number, 1-800-654-3210, carries this story that you hear everything in reverse. Callers claim to have heard popular songs or speeches played backwards, which, yeah, adds a pretty creepy, satanic panic kind of vibe. So, the myths around 1-800-3216-547 are, well, kind of vague, but definitely creepy. People just say that calling it gives you a bad feeling, you know? Like this really weird, unexplainable sense of dread that just sticks with you long after you hang up. Alright, so the rumor for 1-800-765-4321 is honestly wild. Supposedly, if you call it and whisper a secret, an automated voice will whisper one right back to you. A secret you really didn't want anyone to know. And then there's the legend of 1-800-246-8100. People say it's like a glitch in the Matrix number. Callers report hearing all these fragmented conversations, almost like they've accidentally tapped into 1,000 different phone calls at once. It's super weird. So the story for 1-800-135-7913 is that you hear a looping nursery rhyme, but with each loop, the voice gets deeper and more distorted until it's like a monstrous growl. The myth of 1-800-246-8101 is that it's an echo chamber. Anything you say into the phone is repeated back to you, but with a slight, unnerving delay and distortion. The rumor about 1-800-135-7914 is that an automated voice simply says a single future date and time, then hangs up. People who've called say they live in fear of it. So, here's a spooky one for you. The legend of 1-800-246-8102 is that when you call, you hear what sounds like the old dial-up internet. But get this. Hidden in all that noise is a faint, ghostly voice trying to communicate. Creepy, right? Ah, now this one gives me chills. The story for 1-800-135-7915 is that a calm voice reads a random, short, and terrifying tale. And the creepiest part? Sometimes the story includes the listener's first name. Imagine that! Alright, here's a mysterious one. The myth of 1-800-246-8103 is that it's like a spy number station. A monotone voice reads a string of seemingly random numbers, which are supposedly coded messages for secret agents. Intriguing, don't you think? So the rumor for 1-800-135-7916 is simple. It's just pure, loud, painful static. Not just silence, but like an aggressive, ear-splitting noise that totally forces you to hang up right away. The legend of 1-800-246-8104 is that it connects you to a lost person. You might hear a faint voice, kinda asking for directions or saying they don't even know where they are. The story for 1-800-135-7917 is that the only thing you hear on the line is someone crying, like inconsolably. There's no talking or anything, just endless, heartbreaking sobbing. So, the myth of 1-800-246-8105 is that you can actually hear sounds from the past. Callers have said they've picked up things like horse-drawn carriages or old-timey music, or even World War II-era radio broadcasts. Pretty wild, right? Okay, so the rumor for 1-800-135-7918 is that it's just, like, heavy breathing. It seriously sounds like someone is right there on the other end, holding the phone super close to their mouth. But they never say anything at all. Creepy, huh? And then, there's the legend of 1-800-246-8106. People say it sounds like the call is coming from underwater. You hear all these muffled noises, bubbling sounds, and, even the deep, crushing pressure of the ocean. It's kind of spooky if you think about it. So here's the story for 1-800-135-7919. It plays this tiny, tinny music box melody. It's a sweet tune, but oh, it's warped and off-key, making it sound incredibly sinister. Now let's dive into the myth of 1-800-246-8107. It's said to be an alien signal. Callers report hearing these strange, clicking languages and electronic sounds that are, well, completely out of this world. And finally, the rumor for 1-800-135-7920 is that you hear a slow, steady heartbeat. But as you stay on the line, the heartbeat gets faster and faster, as if something is approaching. So, the legend of 1-800-246-8108 is that you hear the sound of a distant train, and, the sound gets progressively louder, as if it's heading straight for you through the phone. The story for 1-800-135-7921 is that you hear laughter. It starts as a child's giggle, but then, it slowly morphs into a deep, maniacal laugh that will totally send shivers down your spine. So, the myth of 1-800-246-8109 is that you hear constant loud construction noises, like drilling, hammering, and sawing, as if, someone is building something terrible on the other end of the line. The rumor for 1-800-135-7922 is that it's a chorus of whispers. You can't make out any individual words, just hundreds of voices whispering over each other in this, super disorienting cacophony. Finally, the legend of 1-800-246-8110 is that it's a countdown. A voice starts at 10 and counts down to 0. No one knows what happens after because, everyone hangs up. And there you have it. 50 of the absolute scariest and most mysterious phone numbers in the world. We heard everything from demonic voices and ghostly whispers to strange, unexplainable noises. While some of these are probably just disconnected lines or weird glitches, others have stories that are just way too creepy to ignore. It's honestly insane to think that just dialing a few digits could be linked to so much fear and so many urban legends that have been passed down for generations. It really makes you wonder what's actually out there. Again, I have to be super clear with you guys. Do not call any of these numbers. This video was for entertainment and to explore these crazy myths, not to encourage anyone to try it. Your safety is the #1 priority, and messing with these unknown numbers is a risk you should never take. You don't know who or what could be on the other end, and honestly, some things are better left as mysteries. We did the scary part so you don't have to. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this crazy deep dive into the unknown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you don't miss our next insane video. Stay safe out there, and remember what we learned today. Some calls are better left unanswered.